So today I want to talk about something that they don't teach you in school. Something that nobody is willing to tell us, especially we Africans. Because Britain sees itself as moral police of the world that determines a kind of what is good and what is bad. And then something happened in the 1800s when they actually ended slavery. And they made us to believe They made everybody to believe that they ended slavery because they have good conscience or they suddenly discovered consciousness. But that is not the truth. And today we want to talk about why England really ended slavery. We want to talk about why England actually ended slavery. This is not what school teach you. So can go with me. England did not end slavery because they suddenly grew a conscience. You see that? So here is the truth. They don't tell you, they don't teach you, they don't teach you this type of truth. By the 1800s, slavery was becoming too expensive. And factories by 1800s, factories were already spreading up. So factories were making more money than plantation. Remember that these slaves were actually working in plantations. All the slaves taken from Africa were actually working in plantation, especially in the Caribbean and the Americas. So capitalism actually needed workers, not slaves. You know why? Slaves were not actually spending any money. They were just a kind of liability, more like. Because they were not paid wages, they were not paid salary, so they don't spend any money. Then they realize that workers earn wages and then spend the money. This is part of modern day slavery that you will struggle all what you have to do in Africa to go to Britain so that you can work. They actually need people who can work and then they tax the hell of you because you work, you spend the money there. It's still happening till today. So slaves don't buy anything. And let's talk fear again, because there is still fear in it, as in the reason why they ended slavery. There is fear. Slaves rebelling, and the rebellions of these slaves were spreading. So slaves in Haiti, for instance, defeated Europe. They have not forgiven them up to today. Britain did not want that fire reaching their colonies. Yes, abolitionists also protested. There are people who were abolishing the trade slave trade. They were called abolitionists. So they protested, but the politicians only listened when slavery stopped making economic sense. And when slavery ended in 1833, guess who got paid? You see it? When slavery ended in 1833, the people that were paid were not the slaves, but the slave masters. The the slave masters were compensated for ending slavery. You understand? It's not the slaves that were compensated. So it wasn't about the slave. They did not end slavery because of the slaves. They ended slavery because it was no longer profitable and they had to pay the slave owners compensation. So, no, England did not end slavery out of kindness. Mark that down. They ended it because the system changed. If they never taught you this in school, follow us for real history. You see, history is about power. History is about power, not feelings. It's about facts. History is about facts, not sentiments. You understand? They didn't end slavery because it was wrong, cruel, and evil. They ended slavery because it stopped working and profitable. Do you now get it? So this is the reason why they ended slavery. Let nobody deceive you that is not because the white man suddenly become good. No, they ended it because it was no longer profitable. So in subsequent videos, we're also going to talk about why France ended slavery, and we're also going to talk about why America also ended slavery eventually.